Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land. This is Kendall, and that's Drew from Dru Bru, and welcome to this episode of Beer 30. Cheers, Drew.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody out there. I want to start out by just telling everybody what I'm drinking, which is the Maibach, a lovely Helles Bock from Dru Bru. So, Drew, did you guys just release this, or what's the deal?
We did. The beer was brewed basically right around the time that things got a little crazy for everybody. So, we had it cellaring and lagering for a while, and we released it probably about 2-3 weeks ago, and really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, it's really nice. I think it's stronger than what's the ABV on this? I think it's stronger than it tastes. Yeah,
it's about 6.5%. So it kind of has this very lager-like German lager aroma and flavor to it. But yeah, not as light as those. It's definitely a little more heavy hitting.
Yeah, it's quite smooth for a beer of its magnitude, and I'm getting a. Not to turn this into just a neener, you don't have one kind of thing, but it's got a really nice malt, really strong malt backbone, but it's also got some yeasty esters in it too. Just a little bit of kind of clovey thing going on.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. I kind of get a little green apple-y character maybe to it. We used it's all got German malts as we usually do with our German style beers, but we used a special floor malted Pilsner from Weyermann. One of the first times we used it as the base malt for this, and it really does add a lot of depth of flavor to that Pilsner character to the beer. I think that made a big difference with how it turned out. Super lightly hopped. I think we just have a little bit of Hallertauer in there, but it's definitely the first time we ever made the beer. You can find it at Costco out there if anyone's looking to get it. That's the place, or at our tap room.
While you're stocking up on toilet paper, you can get some of this beer too.
Yes, exactly.
Like I said, it's in 22-ounce bottles, and it's really good. Where else? Just while we're on the subject, are you self-distributed, or what distributors you're with? Where can people find your beer? Can you give us a little bit?
So we are not self-distributed. We're with Columbia Distributing, and this beer and some of our specialty beers we do really well with Costco, so that's where you can find most of our 22s is at our tap room, at bottle shops around that are open currently, or at Costco. And the other styles, we have a bunch of cans like these here. The two that are the most distributed are our Kolsch and our Hop Session, and also our seasonal Pacific Crest Pale. Those you can find at Fred Meyer and at QFCs, as well as some of the gourmet groceries like PCC also carries those beers as well. And then Bevmo, Total Wine, those types of places. And most of that is we were getting into the canning game before our current crisis that we're all facing. So it's a little bit of a nice thing that we have this packaging that still can kind of keep the trickle coming into our brewery.
So the fact that you're with Columbia is suggestion that your beer is pretty widespread out there at better beer retailers.
Yes. Yeah. Like I say in the Columbia book, we're probably one of the smallest breweries that they have in their book. But they do a great job of getting our beer out to those groceries that we would have had a lot of challenges doing without Columbia. And we're just Washington State, so it's a Washington State only beer. And we do distribute East and West, and we're actually pretty much a split in the state. I'd say half our beer does go to the East side, and half of it goes to the West side, and we're right in the middle of both of that. So yeah.
So I just put up the banner on the stream here, talking about your location. You guys are. It just occurred to me that you are Washington's highest brewery.
I didn't even know that, so that's pretty cool.
I can't think of anything that would be higher. What's higher?
There's a brewery that I don't know. I can't remember the name of it, but it's on the way up to Mount Baker, but I'm not sure where.
No, it's nowhere near. It's way down. It's an awesome brewery. You're talking about the North Fork Brewing Company and Pizzeria.
Okay, yeah.
That place is freaking awesome, but it is not anywhere near elevation like you guys are. I'd be surprised if it was 1,500 feet there. So I don't think of anything that might be higher. I thought, I don't know, Leavenworth, maybe Republic. But Republic's not 3,000 feet above sea level. You know, I can't. So anyway, you guys are Washington's highest brewery.
I'll take it. That's awesome.
Anything to set yourself apart, right?
Yeah, so, that's right.
That's cool. There's definitely advantages to being along Interstate 90, and there's definitely advantages to being up there near the ski areas for at least few months out of the year. And there's definitely advantages to being near the trails in the summertime and all those kind of things. And Kim and I have spent plenty of time sitting in your beer garden after hiking on nearby trails. And that can't be the whole story, though. There must be other challenges with being up there, being part of that community. It's a wonderful community, but you must run into some troubles.
Yes, you know, we love the mountains. It's kind of who we are. The people who work there live up there. We love the mountains. So all of the challenges that we do see are pale in comparison to the benefits we love of just being in that environment. But the biggest challenge is purely the snow. That's the number one thing that we deal with for probably about 4 or 5 months of the year. And it can really stack up at Snoqualmie Pass. So that can create its challenges in many phases. Some of it's just simply shoveling, like how much you have to shovel to get access to anything. Moving beer around in the snow requires a lot more equipment that other breweries may not need. Like we have a skid steer that has forks on it, and that's how we move pallets of beer around in the winter. You know, getting our mobile canner up there in a blizzard, maybe when the highway's closed, that's a pretty tough thing to do as well. Yeah, like that's we've had power outages that have been long lasting. Last winter, we had a very strange situation where we had no water, and that was because of some rupture in the water line up there. The whole ski resort had to close. No one in the whole community had water, so we actually were giving water to the community from our hot liquor tank because that was the only place anybody could get any water for about a week. So just purely the infrastructure challenges of being in a rural, remote area, that's a really big, I think it builds character to the people and to our brand because we fight through that all the time. And we're used to it now. We've been there for 5 years. So we feel like we've seen, up until now, we thought we had seen it all, but now, there's obviously so much that we haven't seen still. So, and the other things are seasonality.
By the time this is done, you will have seen it all.
Yeah, exactly. And there's obviously seasonality challenges of being at a place. We have great business in the winter during the ski season, so we get to have the skiers and snowboarders, the inner tubers, all those snow tourists, and the summers are also great. But we call them the shoulder seasons up there in between those two times that are tough. We don't have our home community. It's not very sizable. So the people who are up there, we love them. They're great patrons of Dru Bru, but there's only about 500 people that live at Snoqualmie Pass. So in terms of having a neighborhood of people that's sizable, it's not. So most of our customer base is not directly living in our neighborhood. So we got to pull people up, which has its own set of challenges, but also its own set of opportunities. So
yeah, and there's that, like you say, you have the supreme opportunity to have power outages up in the mountains like that, especially in the wintertime. And you say water problems and just kind of infrastructure problems. It's like the place is designed to be a ski area, and it's way up in the mountains. So Lord knows anything can happen, right?
And it does happen. Yeah.
And when it does, and also you guys are kind of and it's okay, I guess, if the worst thing that happens is that you have to melt snow to drink water in the middle of the winter in your cabin. But if you're running a brewery, the things are a little bit different.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think
it could go wrong, and it could cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, when we first opened, we chose this wonderful year. People may remember 5 years ago when there was no ski season. So that was our first season up there. We were just staring at the sky, waiting for the snow to show up, and it decided to never show up.
And then a couple of years after that, you had too much snow.
Yeah, and that was the year. So that was the next summer. We had, I think it was 135 inches in the month of December alone, so 10 feet. And this last, I think it was last February, we broke that record for snowfall. And it just every day it was like Groundhog's Day. You'd wake up, and you're like, I just dug my car out, and it's gone again. You'd have to dig it out again and again and again. And that was the same year that the power went out. It went out for 5 days. We had to dump a batch of beer that we were in the middle of brewing. We have a generator, so we've avoided repeating that out of Murphy's Law. Like we've only had to use our generator once or twice, but we have it. So now we sleep at night a little bit more because of that generator. So yeah, it was. We've definitely seen our fair share of challenges beyond what people normally see opening a business like a brewery. So.
So all of that being said, there's some other exciting news with Dru Bru, and that is that you're opening a second location.
Yes. Yeah. So
that's going to continue to be in a fairly recreation-oriented, mountainous kind of town of Cle Elum, right?
Correct. Yeah. And we are actively working on a second tap room location over there. We've been operating out of a warehouse in Cle Elum for about the last year. It's a really sizable piece of property. So it's the old Price Chopper building, which was a grocery store that is no longer in service over there, and we acquired the property. It's on 3 acres of land, and we've been using it to store all of our empty cans and our grain, and even our beer is going over there. So most of our distributor pickups are happening out of Cle Elum now, and we're actively working on a tap room, and it's afforded us the opportunity of changing the design of the tap room, given the current requirements for operations and kind of this new world we're going to see happening after we're allowed to open to the public again. And so we're happy that we have 3 acres of land to provide some socially distanced places to safely hang out for people when we're allowed to.
3 acres.
3 acres. Yes. So it's the building itself is.
You guys going to put in a motocross track or something?
We've thought about a lot of stuff. I think that is not currently on the docket, but we have talked about like a pump track. We've talked about putt golf. We've talked about a drive-in movie theater even. So
those are great ideas. But so tell us more about the location. You say it's on. What in the world is on 3.5 acres? I mean, what in the world is on that big of a piece of property? Was it just designed to be a gigantic parking lot or what?
Yes. So it was a grocery store. The building is 25,000 square feet. So it's a very big building. We are using a portion of it. Some of it's being sublet out to a few other people. And we're kind of seeing this as the future of Dru Bru. Like we were wanting to grow into that space for production down the road as well. And we're hoping to still be able to do that. But also seeing this basically 2 acres of asphalt that are there now that are, a parking lot for 250 cars. Like that is going to change. We want to make that a much more fun environment for enjoying the mountains like we do at Snoqualmie Pass, but kind of adapting that for Cle Elum. And with all that land, we see a lot of opportunity for outdoor fun that we can incorporate into our beer drinking experience. And we're also diversifying our products. For those that come up to our tap room a lot, we do make cider, alcoholic cider as well. So we have a winemaker's license and we dabble in some cider making. And we also make soda. So root beer is one of our staples. The kids that come to Dru Bru drink the root beer, and we're going to be expanding on that in Cle Elum. We want to make sure that we're allowing and giving an experience to people that want anything from soda to carbonated water to beer to cider and probably even wine. We'll partner with some wineries to help us do that. But those are all things that we want to bring to the Cle Elum experience as well as a lot of these outdoor things. So we've talked about those fun, drive-in movie theater, maybe a dog run, lots of outdoor games, things of that nature. So
that's cool. And I guess what's the timeline looking like on this stuff? I mean, I know we're in the middle of the pandemic, and that makes it really difficult to know what's going to happen tomorrow, much less next month. But how are things looking over there? What's the time I'm looking at?
Well, I have this crystal ball right here, and I'm going to shake it up, and it's going to tell me. No, we are making really good progress. We've definitely updated our plan of attack for building this space out, and we're looking for opening a phase 1 version of this experience this coming summer. So, barring the allowance to open, we're hoping to have something over there July. Maybe it'll be mid-July, maybe it'll be the beginning of August. But that's our goal. This first experience will be a pretty small indoor tap room area that's probably similar in size to our Snoqualmie Pass indoor area, but then also allow the big outdoor area to kind of feed in from that. And we're hoping to have that. Yeah, like our goal is the middle of July. So, and we're making progress. We've knocked walls down. We need to, get it done this summer, or else we'll have trouble with there's snow in Cle Elum too. We love the snow. So we're going to deal with that as well.
I just want to point out that you talked about phase 1 of the project, and I'm just going to tell you that moving forward, I don't think we're going to be using the term phase anymore. Phase 1, phase 2, it's just like, it's like, videos no longer are going to go viral.
Yeah, phasing is, you're right. Bad term. Let's say stage. So stage one. Stage one. We're hoping to have stage 1 open for phase 2. That's the plan.
Yeah, but then I'm just getting in my ear here that stage 1 is cancer. So we'll call it.
Oh man, I'm bad at this.
Act 2, Act 3.
Yes.
And we can all think about a play or something more romantic. So I've moved on now to another beer because I'm just that way.
Yes.
Now I am drinking the Alpha Female.
Yes. And that is another new product of ours. So it's new this year. We come out with it every single year. And this is the Pink Boots collaboration type beer. So we have a female brewer. Her name is Cheyenne. She's very active in the Pink Boots Society. She's been with us for almost 5 years. So she's a big part of Dru Bru. And this is a beer that she writes the recipe for. This is her baby. And this is the first year we've ever had it in a 22. So it features the Pink Boots hop blend every year. And it turned out fantastic this year. Super pumped with, it's got this incredibly bright hoppy character as well as great clarity. The malt backbone on it is just a nicely painted on so that it's allowing those hops to be featured. And we came out with that around the same time as the Maibach. It's also available in Costco's around. And yeah, that'll be a beer that we have every year that we come out with, but it will change. It's a seasonal beer, and it's always going to change because the Pink Boots hop blend changes every year as well. So go lady brewers. Love having the females involved in our brewery. They make a huge difference for us, and want to give them the support and love that they deserve because they're amazing. So, yeah,
and the Pink Boots Society, just for those who don't know, and everybody should know about the Pink Boots Society, their primary mission is to provide scholarships to women working in all aspects of the beer industry.
Yes.
And I just did. My brain is kind of scattered, but I just did a story recently about how much money they have earned with that hop blend that you're talking about. It's YCH hops.
Yep.
And they have Yakima Chief, as most people know them. They have earned so much money for that scholarship program. I don't even remember how much it is, but because I write about a lot of things and they just go right through me when I do that. I publish it. People go, "Hey, you should know this. You just wrote about this." And then I'm 4 days later going, "That was 4 days ago. I have no idea. I can barely remember what you're talking about." Hold on. $117,000 that hop blend has raised so far, just this year.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's
$257,000 over the past 3 years with that hop blend from YCH for the Pink Boot Society. And like I say, it definitely provides scholarship opportunities for women to advance their career inside the brew house and outside the brew house as well in the beer industry. But mostly they're educating beer makers. So cheers to that.
Yeah.
And that we all like that. As long as anything that helps people make better beer, I'm all for it. And, the thing is
exactly.
Society is it goes back to the roots of beer. And there was a time when exclusively women made the beer.
It's true.
Yeah, they made everything. The men were out either working in the fields or hunting or something or doing whatever they did. We
were just fighting each other over the women.
Yeah, fighting each other over the women, which is, we were doing that. But the women were at home making the beer and making the food and taking care of the children and giving us homes to live in and doing all the important work while we were out killing each other.
Yep.
So where is the alpha female also at Costco?
Yes, it is at Costco. At least I don't know if it's still at Costco. It's a pretty popular one, but you should be able to still find it at Costco. We're pretty much out of it at the brewery now. We have as of last weekend, we had 5 cases of it left, so it might be all gone now. But there's always the 2021 Pink Boots Hop Blend and the next version of it that we'll come out with. So. Yeah,
to get back onto the description of the beer, let me give myself a little refresher here to kind of get off the hops again.
It's a double IPA, and I wish Cheyenne was here because she honestly knows more about it than I do. But I know we use the Pink Boots Hop Blend. It's got a Pilsner malt base, and we are using a new yeast at Dru Bru that we started using for the last year, and we've actually converted all of our hoppier beer styles to be using this yeast, and it's from Imperial Organic Yeast. It's called Dry Hop. So this is the first Pink Boots beer that we've made using that new yeast, and it develops.
Wait. They call the yeast Dry Hop.
Yes, it's a blend of 2 different yeasts that they have, and it really helps accentuate dry hop flavor in beer. So the tropical notes, like those explosive, hoppy notes that you're getting in the best of the best dry hopped beers. A lot of the yeast, the yeast choice is important when making those types of beers, and really can develop and accentuate those flavor profiles, and that's I think showing in this beer. We're using that in like our Pacific Crest Pale now, as well as our hop session and the single batch rotating styles that we have.
I thought something had changed with the Pacific Crest.
Yeah,
I just drank one yesterday, and I've always loved that beer, but it just wasn't quite what I remembered. It was kind of better. But it was really, really good. And Kim just drank one, I think. And so I'm going to ask Kim, since Kim is a pink bootser, give me some descriptors of this beer. Fruity.
But it dries very nice on the palate.
When it dries out.
It finishes real nice.
Yeah. I get, I always go for my lips after I've been drinking hoppy beers, because that's where I tend to find the fruit flavor. So I get almost like a lemon zest, lemon peel kind of fruitiness from it. It's really good. Yeah, it's a really good beer. You guys always make really good beer, so I'm not surprised.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so what other new beers you got coming out?
So we've been on a little bit of a brewing hiatus, unfortunately, but we are planning on brewing, and we're going to be brewing again tomorrow. So we're all super pumped about that. And the 2 beers that we're brewing this week are totally new beers. The first is a hoppy collaboration beer that we've been cooking up. We've been working with Yakima Valley Hops and Haas out of Yakima, and we are going to be featuring a new hop that Yakima Valley Hops has called Brew 1, and it is spelled BRU-1. So when we first heard about this hop coming out, we know them over at Yakima Valley Hops, and immediately got on the phone and said, "Hey, I think we need to make a beer together." And they were all for it. So we, pre-pandemic, we were down in Yakima. We brought the brewers down there and met with the team at Haas. The Yakima Valley guys were there. Haas has this state-of-the-art pilot brewing system. It's one of the most incredible things I've experienced in my time in the brewing industry. And it's basically a 2-barrel system that is fully automated. Like, this is the level of control and automation you have on this system is, is the same as you'd have on a huge Budweiser, $1 billion type of facility, but they make 4 kegs at a time. So we kind of crafted a recipe together. We did a lot of blending of different things that they had there, talked a lot about it. We probably had a lot of samples of different Brew One beers, which gave us the creative freedom and ability to make this recipe together. And then they crafted it up on their system, which is mostly computer programming. I think they kind of tell the computer what to do and then they press go. And obviously they do a little bit, but it's amazing how automated it is. And we got to sample it and we made a few more tweaks and now we're ready to brew it. So this beer was actually supposed to come out in the kind of first or second week of April. But we pulled the plug on it for a little bit and we're pivoting and now doing it in 22 ounce bottles as well. So we expect these to come out, hopefully. We're brewing it now. It'll probably be available sometime in mid-June is what we're expecting. And we're hoping that beer will also find a home at Costco. We'll definitely have it at our tap room. And we're going to be sharing it with our friends down in Yakima as well. So that's the first one. The Brew One hop also is, just to give you guys a little tantalizing statement here, it's a pineapple bomb. So the thing, I've never smelled a hop that has this like pineapple flesh flavor. It's just the second you smell it, you're like, whoa. So we're pretty excited about that. It's going to be a hazy IPA, which we've never really done before. So that'll also be a new thing for us. And then the next day we are brewing a sour, which is going to be a Berliner Weiss. And we've done this once before, and we're excited to do it again. So that'll be a kettle soured 3.5% Berliner Weiss, kind of a summer, super crisp, easy drinking, tart, refreshing beer. We're going to bottle it as well and hopefully finding homes of that one in Costco.
Right on. We have a question from the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah. What will be phase 2? Are they going to open their beer garden? How are they going to approach phase 2?
When King County moves to phase 2.
So
or do you guys,
what is in Kittitas County.
Oh, you're at the pass? You guys are in Kittitas County?
The county line is about, like, no joke, is about 500 feet from where our brewery is.
That's actually, that might get you there sooner.
Yes. So, and we're looking at all the developments with the transition to phase 2. We technically are in a county that is qualified for an early opening or early transition to phase 2, and the county has applied for that. And they haven't gotten the approval yet, but we're hoping that they will get the approval within the next week or so, but obviously out of our control. And we are already making, provisions to figure out how to open up safely for customers to come in who want to enjoy that experience. And what we're looking at doing is, providing table service for people so they don't have to get up from their table, kind of keeping people at their tables, having more tables that are more spaced out so that they're not sitting within 6 feet of each other, and having lots of sanitizers and all those types of things around so that people can feel that they're able to enjoy outside beer drinking experience in an environment that's as safe as we can make it today. And we're hoping to do that as soon as possible. And I think the best case scenario for us would be next weekend, but that probably is a little optimistic. So maybe a week or two after that.
Well, the thing is it's been pretty impressive. I mean, I know there's all sorts of people have all sorts of opinions, but they just announced today that they've opened up 10 more counties. It's allowing restaurants, tap rooms, taverns to apply for the variances to get open for phase 2. So I think last week when they opened the first 8 or whatever it was, we were all kind of surprised by that because we'd all been told that it was going to be June. And then the 8 opened. And then I was in my car today doing some essential driving on an essential route. And I heard them talk about that they were opening 10 more counties. I was like, well, wait a minute, this all seems like it's ahead of schedule. So they're doing this as it comes, and hopefully you guys are going to be, as part of Kittitas County, I guess you might be part of the next wave, which, hell, who knows when that's going to be. That could be the next time the governor has a press conference. It could be tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know, but we're preparing, and we're prepared, and we're going to continue to operate our beer to go tent regardless. Even if we're open for 50% capacity in phase 2, we would still have a beer to go tent. We want to make sure that people who are still want to stay home and stay away from people have an opportunity to come up and get beer without having to engage with people who are there. So we're trying to provide those options, and we're looking forward to it. I know that everyone's at the staff is excited about just some light at the end of this tunnel, and I don't think we're at the end of the tunnel by any means, but just something new and exciting to think about. I think is good for everybody. So
I think you're right. And just to kind of wrap things up, speaking of the tunnel, what's that tunnel event you guys are part of every year?
So yes, it is our Glow Run. It's a 5K. We are unfortunately going to be canceling that this year, and I think I would have to look. It's either going to be our 4th or 5th year of doing it. If anyone hasn't done it, it's a fantastic event. Hopefully we'll be able to do it in 2021. It is a fun run. It takes place in the Snoqualmie Tunnel, which is a historic rail road that has been abandoned, and it is a 2.25 mile tunnel and literally goes directly under Snoqualmie Pass. It is pitch black in there, so no light whatsoever. We give everybody glow lights, glow gear, sticks. We put like flashy lights and music all throughout the tunnel, and this is put on by Dru Bru. It's our event. We then have a big block party at the end of it, so following the Glow Run, people get to come back to our tap room where we take over the whole parking lot, have a bunch of food from the neighboring restaurant, the Commonwealth there, and we have lots of fun, lots of games, lots of things to do, and it's a great time. It's our biggest event every year, actually. We've also started doing something called the Gear Sale, which is a awesome event for outdoor enthusiasts where we partner with a whole bunch of local purveyors of awesome outdoor gear. So it could be Gerks, in Issaquah selling mountain bikes or skis. Usually they're a deep discount, like last year's model type stuff. We've partnered with Arc'teryx. We have the guys from Sturt Events coming up, like all those types of people. And we take over the parking lot. You drink beers while shopping for super cheap gear for next year or for the coming year. And it's been one of our favorite events as well. Those are also temporarily on hold until it's safer to do so. So,
well, that's all really good stuff. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience today? Anything other news from Dru Bru, or what do you got to say?
No, I just go out, buy your hop session, buy your Kolsch at the grocery store. That's the best way to support us and any of your breweries. Go to their tap rooms, buy their products. Do as best you can to think local, whether it's a restaurant down the street, whether it's a brewery that you love. Try to avoid buying a big name beer right now, because we need all the help we can get. It's a tough time for all of us, as it is for everybody. And so we want to band together. We're going to get through this all together, and hopefully we're going to be stronger on the other side of it. So
right on. I agree. Hopefully this is it. We're going to come out of this thing and not just be stronger, but be smarter, create lives for ourselves that are more resilient. And we will have learned a lot of important lessons during all of this. And hopefully one of them is that we all need to stay together and support each other and care about each other. So with that, I want to say good night to all of our friends out there on Facebook, and we'll see you next time, which will be very soon. I'm going to be back tomorrow with some important, fun announcements from some friends of mine. So thank you very much for joining us today, Dru. And
thank you.
Yeah, so long to all you friends out there on Facebook.
Bye-bye.